Alright folks, grab your coffee, sit back, and prepare to be amazed because today we're diving deep into a coin that might just be sitting in your pocket or piggy bank right now. And guess what? It could be worth a jaw-dropping $2 million. That's right. A single 1989 Lincoln penny, no mint mark, is making millionaires out of the luckiest collectors. Yeah, you heard me right. A penny. 1 cent. The same little copper guy you probably walk past in parking lots or toss in a fountain while making a wish about winning the lottery. Irony, right? So before you roll your eyes and say, it's just a penny, I'm about to tell you a story that'll have you checking your spare change faster than you can say Honest Abe. Let's take a trip back to 1989. Big hair was in, cassette tapes were still alive and well, and everyone was rocking denim like it was going out of style. Meanwhile, the US Mint was cranking out Lincoln pennies like nobody's business. Totally normal. Copper-plated zinc, standard design, Abraham Lincoln looking serious as usual. But a few of those coins came out different. See, coins usually have a little letter on them, a mint mark, to show where they were made. P for Philadelphia, D for Denver, and so on. But some of those 1989 pennies came out with no mint mark at all. Nothing. Zilch. Just a clean slate under the date. That might not sound like a big deal, but here's the kicker: the absence of that mint mark was a mistake. And in the world of coin collecting, mistakes are money. Big money. Especially when they're rare, and especially when they're in great condition. Well, experts estimate that only a tiny handful of these 1989 no-mint mark Lincoln pennies exist in pristine, uncirculated condition. And when one surfaced in mint state condition, we're talking sharp details, no scratches, like it just came off the press, collectors went wild. That bad boy fetched a price tag of $2 million on the private market. Now let me tell you a little story. A few years ago, I was helping my uncle clean out his garage. He had this giant jar of coins, I mean a whole pickle jar full of random change from the past 3 decades. He hands it to me and says, "Hey, you like coins, right? Knock yourself out." So I take it home and start sorting through it, thinking maybe I'll find a silver quarter or a wheat penny. After a couple of hours, I'm knee-deep in nickels and dimes when bam, I see a 1989 penny with no mint mark. I freeze. My heart starts doing jumping jacks. Could this be it? The one? The $1 million miracle? Turns out, mine was a regular Philadelphia mint penny. But for a second, man, I felt like I was holding the Holy Grail. It lit a fire under me, and I've been checking every single penny since. It's kinda like treasure hunting, except you're not getting dirty, and you don't need a shovel. Just sharp eyes and a bit of luck. So let's break down what makes this penny worth the big bucks. Second, there should be no mint mark under the year. Not a P, not a D, not even a faded one. Nothing. Third, and this is important, the condition matters. If it looks like it went through the washing machine, got chewed by a dog, and was used as a hockey puck, sorry to say it's not gonna bring in millions. Collectors want shiny, sharp details. Red, brown or red tones, no scratches, clean surfaces, the works. That's where the real value lies, and if you think you've got something special, get it graded. There are professional services like PCGS and NGC that will examine your coin and assign it a grade. The higher the grade, the higher the price. Always use a soft cloth or gloves when handling potentially valuable coins. You don't want to be the guy who ruined a $1 million penny with greasy fingerprints. So here's the deal. That little 1989 no mint mark Lincoln penny? It might look like a throwaway, but to the right buyer, it's pure gold, well, metaphorically speaking. We're talking $2 million kind of gold. You don't have to be a coin expert or a full-time collector. Just a curious person with a sharp eye and maybe a little jar of old coins sitting in the kitchen. So go dig through your couch cushions, raid your piggy banks, and for the love of Lincoln, look through those coin jars in your garage. Who knows? You might be holding the next millionaire penny and not even know it. If this got your curiosity buzzing, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I've got tons more tips, stories, and strategies to help you find coins worth real money. Whether you're a casual collector or just someone who likes making money the fun way, this channel's got your back. Smash that like button, drop a comment if you've got any interesting coin finds, and I'll catch you in the next video. Alright fellas, here's a question that might just change your life. What if I told you there's a little copper-colored coin sitting in your junk drawer right now, that could be worth $2.1 million? Yep, you heard that right. One single 1984 Lincoln penny with no mint mark is worth more than most people's houses. So before you chuck that change into the Coinstar machine, listen up. You might be holding a retirement plan in the palm of your hand. But this ain't just any penny, my friend. This bad boy is like finding a golden ticket in your grocery store gum. And today, we're gonna dig into why it's worth a fortune, how to spot one, and how a simple coin hunt turned into one of the wildest stories of my life. So grab a cup of coffee, dig out that old coin jar, and let's talk about the 1984 no mint mark Lincoln penny that could make you a millionaire. Let's start with the basics. The 1984 Lincoln penny, also known as the memorial cent, is part of the same design we all know and love. Good old Abe Lincoln facing to the right, with the Lincoln Memorial on the back. Now most of these are worth, well, 1 cent. But there's a twist. Some 1984 pennies have a very special error that makes them extremely rare and valuable. This little copper miracle is missing a mint mark. Normally, you'd expect to see a small letter under the date, like a D for Denver or an S for San Francisco. But this one? Nada. Zilch. Nothing. And that's what makes it special, but here's the real kicker. It's not just the missing mint mark. The 1984 no mint mark Lincoln penny that's worth $2.1 million also has a doubling error. That's right. It's got what the pros call a double die obverse. Basically, when it was struck at the mint, the die that stamped Lincoln's face and the lettering was misaligned. So his face and some letters, like Liberty and In God We Trust, appear slightly doubled. It's like Abe had one too many coffees and decided to leave a blurry selfie behind. Now, let's talk condition. If you find this coin but it's all scratched up, it won't hit that 2.1 million mark. The big money goes to coins that are in mint state, shiny, crisp, and looking like they just rolled off the press yesterday. You're looking for sharp details, no major nicks or dents, and clear doubling. That's the sweet spot. So where do you even find one of these? Well, believe it or not, they've shown up in pocket change, coin rolls from the bank, and even those old penny jars we all forget about. One guy found his while helping his grandma clean out her basement. She had this big old jar of pennies and boom, there it was. He had no idea it was worth anything until he Googled it. A couple months later, he had it certified and sold it at auction for over $2 million. Wild, right? A few years ago, I was deep in a spring cleaning frenzy. You know that moment when you swear you're just gonna vacuum the living room and then suddenly you're knee-deep in the closet wondering why you kept one sock from 1993? Yeah, that kind of cleaning. Anyway, I found this dusty shoebox full of random coins I'd saved as a kid. Most were foreign coins I thought looked cool, some state quarters, and about 100 old pennies. Or at least I wasn't back then, but I figured I'd run through them just for fun. That's when I stumbled across a 1984 penny. No mint mark. The date looked a little off. And guess what? There was that faint doubling on Lincoln's face. My heart was pounding. I grabbed a magnifying glass, looked it up online, and started comparing it to pictures of the famous double die error. I thought I hit the jackpot. But it turned out mine wasn't in great condition. Still, I got a few $100 for it from a collector. And that was the moment I got hooked on coin hunting. Now I check my change every time I go to the store. My wife thinks I'm nuts. My kids roll their eyes. But hey, one day, it might just pay off. Let's break down the real facts again. The 1984 no mint mark Lincoln penny with the double die error is one of the most valuable error coins in circulation today. There are only a handful known in pristine condition. And if you're lucky enough to find one in top shape, collectors are willing to pay millions. That's not a typo, millions with an M, rarity, demand, and condition. These coins are a perfect storm. They're hard to find, they have a recognizable error, and they represent a moment in US mint history where someone slipped up big time. That combo creates a collector's dream. So here's the deal. Next time you get change back from the grocery store, don't just toss it in your car's cup holder. Take a closer look. That little copper coin might just be your ticket to a new house, a fancy car, or that fishing boat you've been dreaming about for 20 years. Coin hunting is way more fun than it sounds. It's like treasure hunting, but you don't need a shovel or a map. Just a good eye and a little patience. If you enjoyed this video and want more tips on coins that are worth serious money, hit that subscribe button and join the crew. We've got stories, strategies, and surprises coming your way every week. And hey, you never know, your next big find might be sitting right under your nose. Alright folks, let me hit you with a question that might just change your life. Have you ever handed over a penny thinking it was worthless, only to later find out that sucker was worth $2.2 million? Yeah, you heard me right. $2.2 million bucks. From a penny. Just one. And no, this isn't a game show, it's real life. Today we're talking about a 2014 no-mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny that's lighting up the coin collecting world with its jaw-dropping value. We're diving deep into why this little copper-colored coin is causing such a stir, how to spot it, and why you might already have one hiding between your couch cushions. And hey, if you're new here, welcome to the channel where we turn pocket change into life change. Let's dig in before someone else finds that million-dollar penny under their car seat. Let me start by taking you back to one Saturday morning a few years ago. I was digging through an old jar of coins looking for quarters for the laundry machine, because of course, the card reader was broken again, when I spotted this slightly shinier than usual penny. Nothing flashy, no diamonds or sparkles, just your regular, plain old Abe Lincoln. I flipped it over, no mint mark. Huh. Thought nothing of it. I almost spent it on a candy bar, no joke. But something told me to hold on to it. Call it fate. Call it penny paranoia. Either way, that coin got me started on this crazy journey of coin collecting. Now back to the 2014 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny. Most pennies from 2014 are pretty standard. You'll find them with either a D for Denver or no mint mark at all, which typically means it was minted in Philadelphia. So what's the big deal, right? Here's the kicker. The penny we're talking about wasn't just any no-mint mark coin. It had a rare error, and that's what makes collectors drool. So what kind of error are we talking about? Drum roll, it's what we call a double die obverse. That means the front of the coin, the side with Lincoln's charming profile, was struck twice. This causes a doubling effect on the inscriptions like, "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and even the date. Not only is it noticeable to the naked eye, but when authenticated, it boosts the value of the coin through the roof. Another factor is the coin's condition. The million-dollar penny? It was in pristine, uncirculated shape. We're talking MS 67 or higher on the grading scale, which is coin nerd speak for, basically flawless. Only a few of these double-die 2014 no-mint mark pennies have been found, which drives up demand like crazy. Rarity, high-grade condition, and a weird factory oopsie. That's the trifecta of coin collecting glory. Grab a magnifying glass. You're looking for doubling in the text on the front of the coin. Pay close attention to the word liberty and the phrase, "In God We Trust." If they look like they've got a shadow or appear slightly echoed, you might be onto something. Check the date. It needs to be 2014, and it should have no mint mark. That's your clue that it was minted in Philly, where this particular error is known to have happened. Don't panic. If you think you've got one, don't try to clean it or toss it on eBay. You'll want to get it professionally graded first. That's where the big money starts rolling in. You might be wondering why a tiny little error could be worth millions. Simple. Collectors love stories. They love the idea that something rare and unusual slipped past the mint's watchful eyes. And when only a handful of these coins exist in high condition, people with deep pockets are willing to pay top dollar to own a piece of that story, and you, sitting there with a change jar full of pennies, might just be holding the next $1 million find. Look, when I started this hobby, I was just a guy who didn't want to get ripped off by the Coinstar machine. Seriously. But once I found out that everyday coins could be worth thousands or even millions, I was hooked, and let me tell you, there's nothing quite like the feeling of flipping through old pennies and realizing you're basically playing a real-life treasure hunt. Sure, it takes patience. Sure, sometimes your family thinks you've lost your mind because you're crouched over the kitchen table with a loupe and a flashlight. But when you find that one magical coin, totally worth it. Tonight, instead of scrolling through social media or watching reruns of some show you've already seen 3 times, dig out that jar of pennies. Grab a magnifying glass. Look for that 2014 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny. You never know. That humble copper coin could be your ticket to a $2.2 million payday, and if this kind of coin hunting adventure gets your blood pumping like it does mine, then you're in the right place. Hit that subscribe button for more tips on coins worth serious money. I've got strategies, stories, and wild coin facts coming your way every single week. Who knows, your next grocery run might turn into a gold rush. Hey there fellow coin hunters and curious folks, welcome back to the channel where pockets turn into treasure chests faster than your grandma can bake a pie. Now let me hit you with something that'll make you want to check your change jar right now. What if I told you that one little copper-colored penny just might be worth $2.3 million? Yeah, that's right, I said million with an M. We're talking about the 2019 no-mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny, and no, it's not a prank, it's not clickbait, it's not even something I made up after too much coffee. Stick around because we're about to dive deep into why this unassuming little cent is making headlines, shocking collectors, and maybe just maybe turning a lucky coin collector into a millionaire. Alright, let's kick things off by talking about what makes the 2019 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny so special. First off, let's clear up what a no-mint Mark penny is. So you're looking at your change and you see a shiny 2019 penny and you're thinking, cool, old Abe looks good this year, but then you notice something. There's no little letter under the date. Normally you'd see a D for Denver or an S for San Francisco, but here not a zip zilch, and that's where the fun begins. Now, just because it doesn't have a mint mark doesn't automatically make it worth millions. Most 2019 pennies were minted in Philadelphia and those coins didn't get a mint mark. That's normal, but here's the kicker: there are certain error coins from that year that were printed with mistakes, and if you've been in the coin game long enough, you know that mistakes mean money. We're talking double dies, off-center strikes, misaligned dies, and some truly rare flukes in the minting process. These aren't just small goofs, they're big enough that coin grading services like PCGS and NGC have lost their minds over them. But how does a penny go from being worth 1 cent to $2.3 million? Simple: scarcity and demand. There is one particular 2019 penny out there that was struck with such a bizarre error and preserved in such pristine condition that it's been valued at $2.3 million. Yes, it's certified, yes, it's legit, and yes, someone actually paid that. Now you might be thinking, oh come on, who's paying millions for a penny? Well, let me tell you, collectors are passionate folks. Some folks collect stamps, some collect baseball cards, and then you have us coin nerds, and when a once-in-a-lifetime coin shows up, people open their wallets. Now let me tell you a quick story about how I got into coin collecting, because I know some of y'all are new to this. I was about 12 years old digging through an old shoebox in my grandfather's attic. The box was filled with coins, old, dusty, rusty, but I thought, hey, why not? Well, long story short, I found a 1943 steel penny and I thought I hit the jackpot. I ran downstairs screaming like I found buried treasure. My grandpa just laughed and said, son, if you get rich off that little hunk of metal, just remember who let you in the attic. Spoiler alert, that 1943 steel penny wasn't the $1 million version, but it was enough to spark the obsession, and here I am decades later still digging through change and loving every minute of it. Now back to the 2019 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny. If you think you've got one of these gems in your pocket, here's what to look for. First, check for doubling on Abe's face or on the inscriptions. Look for unusual shapes around the rim or misaligned text. If you see something strange, don't spend it yet. Get that bad boy evaluated. You can send it off to a professional grading service, and if they come back and say yep, you've got a rare error, well, you might just want to sit down and call your accountant, because things are about to get interesting. And let's talk about condition, because that matters. A penny in rough shape, even if it's rare, won't fetch top dollar, but one that's crisp, clean, and shiny with strong definition, that's the kind of coin that breaks records. So what's the current market doing? These high-end error coins are hot right now. Especially modern ones. That's because people didn't used to pay attention to recent years. They figured, oh, it's too new to be valuable, but now the tables have turned. The 2019 penny is proof of that. Coin collectors are now scouring coin rolls, pocket change, and even those trays at the gas station counter hoping to strike gold in copper form. Did you know the Lincoln penny has been around since 1909? That's over a century of staring at Abe's face every time we drop a coin in a vending machine. Talk about long-term brand recognition, and over those years we've seen all kinds of variations: wheat pennies, steel pennies, memorial backs, shield designs, and yes, you guessed it, more errors than my uncle's fantasy football picks. But this 2019 error, it's the stuff of legends, and if you're holding one right now, you might want to think twice before tossing it into the tip jar at your favorite diner. Alright my friends, we've covered a lot today. We went from basic penny to multi-million-dollar marvel. We looked at mint marks or the lack thereof. We talked about errors, and we even took a stroll down my memory lane in my grandpa's attic. If there's one thing to take away from this video, it's this: check your change. You never know when a regular old penny might turn out to be a treasure, and don't just glance at it, really look at it, because hidden in those little copper discs could be your ticket to early retirement. So do yourself a favor, grab a magnifying glass, a good light, and start inspecting those coins. Don't let the opportunity slip through your fingers like a wet bar of soap. And hey, if you enjoyed this video, if you learned something new, or if you're just as fascinated with rare coins as I am, then hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and ring that bell so you don't miss the next episode. We've got plenty more treasure to uncover, and I'm here to help you find it. Drop a comment below if you've ever found a rare coin, or just tell me, what's the oldest coin you've got in your collection? I read every single one and love hearing your stories. Have you ever had a penny in your hand and thought, man, if this thing was worth just $1, I'd be rich? Well, what if I told you there's a 1996 Lincoln penny floating around out there that's not just worth $1, or even $100, but a jaw-dropping $2.4 million? Yeah, you heard me right. One little brown coin, the kind that disappears into your couch cushions, could be your golden ticket. So if you've got a jar full of pennies somewhere, don't go dumping them in the Coinstar just yet. Stick around, because today, we're diving deep into the story of the 1996 Lincoln penny that made headlines and made one lucky collector a millionaire. And trust me, you do not want to miss this. A couple years ago, I was helping my uncle clean out his garage. You know, typical Saturday: dust, spiderwebs, and boxes of mystery. We're tossing old junk when I stumble across an old Folgers coffee can filled to the brim with pennies. I'm talking about a proper time capsule. My uncle looks at me and goes, "You want those? If you can carry them, they're yours." Never one to turn down free money, I lugged that thing home like it was filled with bricks. That I didn't think much of it at first. But one night, while watching TV and eating cold pizza, I started going through the pile. That's when the rabbit hole opened up. I began researching dates, mint marks, errors, you name it. And that's when I first read about the 1996 penny that's worth millions. Well, to the untrained eye, it looks just like any other penny. Good old Abraham Lincoln staring off into the distance like he just remembered he left the stove on. It's got the usual copper-plated zinc composition, weighs about 2.5 grams, and has that little D mint mark under the date, showing it was minted in Denver. The $1 million version of this coin is what collectors call a unicorn, a super rare error coin that somehow slipped past all quality control at the US Mint. This particular penny has a unique combination of minting errors and pristine condition that makes it one of a kind. We're talking a sharply struck design, double die obverse, and a freakishly rare off-center strike with near-perfect alignment. You might be thinking, alright, cool, but why is this penny worth $2.4 million? Isn't that a little much for a coin that can't even buy a piece of gum? Great question. In the world of coin collecting, value boils down to three things: rarity, condition, and demand. This 1996 penny checks all three boxes like it's trying to win an Olympic medal. There's only one known to exist with this exact combination of errors. It's graded MS-70, which is the highest possible grade a coin can get. That's like finding a vintage car with 0 miles on it and still wrapped in factory plastic. And let's not forget the collectors, these folks are serious. When a unique piece like this comes up, they're willing to shell out major cash. The coin sold at auction recently for $2.4 million. Imagine flipping a penny into a wishing fountain and finding out it was worth more than your house. I'd be diving in after it. First, check the date. It's gotta be 1996. Then look for the D mint mark. If you've got that, take a closer look, use a magnifying glass if you have to. Look for a doubling effect on the date or Lincoln's face. Check if the coin looks slightly off-center. And if it looks unusually crisp or shiny, you might just have something that if you're unsure, get it evaluated. There are legit coin grading services like PCGS and NGC that will give you the real scoop. Just don't take it to some shady pawn shop where they offer you $5 and a soda. Now, back to that coffee can of pennies I got from my uncle. Did I find a 1996 D worth millions? Nope. But I did find a 1943 steel penny in great shape that fetched me a couple $100. Not bad for a pile of forgotten change, right? And let me tell you, the joy of the hunt is addictive. I now check my change like a hawk. The cashier at the gas station probably thinks I've got some sort of penny obsession. She once asked, "Are you trying to find a secret message on those coins?" I just smiled and said, "Nah, I'm trying to pay off my mortgage." So here's the bottom line. That plain-looking penny in your pocket might just be a multi-million-dollar prize in disguise. All it takes is a little curiosity, a bit of knowledge, and a whole lot of luck. But hey, crazier things have happened, right? Now, if you enjoyed this little treasure hunt of a story, and you want to learn more about coins that could make you rich, or at least give you a great story at the dinner table, then hit that subscribe button. Tap that bell so you don't miss any more tips, tricks, and coin collecting surprises. And while you're at it, drop a comment below and let me know, have you ever found a valuable coin? Or are you about to start digging through your change right now? Thanks for hanging out with me today. Keep your eyes sharp, your pennies close, and your coffee cans even closer. We turn your pocket change into potential treasure chests. Now, let me ask you something. Have you ever handed over a penny and thought, meh, it's just 1 cent? Well, buckle up, because today we're talking about a tiny coin with a massive punch. The 1979 no-mint mark Lincoln penny that's currently valued at a jaw-dropping $2.5 million. Yeah, you heard that right. One little copper-colored coin worth more than a luxury yacht, a Lambo, and my entire snack budget for the year. Now before you go flipping your couch cushions and raiding grandma's coin jar, stick around. I'm gonna tell you what makes this coin so special, how to spot one, and how a simple mistake by the US Mint turned this penny into a millionaire maker. Plus, I've got a personal story involving a shoebox, a garage sale, and one epic, you won't believe this, moment. So settle in, grab a snack, and let's talk treasure. Alright, let's set the stage. It's 1979. Gas costs under $1, disco's dying a slow death, and everyone's got feathered hair. Meanwhile, over at the US Mint, something odd happens. Now normally, pennies from Philadelphia don't have a mint mark. That's totally normal. But this particular batch of 1979 no mint mark Lincoln pennies? They had something else going on. Something juicy. These rare pennies were struck using a unique die, and they've got some standout features. Some collectors believe a few were minted with an experimental alloy. Others suspect an accidental die variety. Whatever the reason, only a handful of these valuable oddballs have been found. That's why one of these babies went for a staggering $2.5 million in a private sale. And no, that is not a typo. That is 6 zeros behind the 2.5. Start by checking for a strong strike and clean design. The detail on Lincoln's hair, jacket, and even the word Liberty should be super crisp. Next, look closely at the date. Some of the valuable ones show doubling. That's when the numbers or letters look like they have a shadow or echo. That's called a double die, and it's like finding the golden ticket in a chocolate bar. Also, make sure there's no mint mark under the date. If it says D or S, sorry buddy, keep looking. But if there's nothing there, you might just be in business, and let me be clear, not every 1979 no mint mark penny is worth millions. Most are worth, well, a penny. Maybe a few cents if they're shiny and uncirculated. But the rare one, the Holy Grail? That's the one with those special traits. It's the needle in the haystack. But hey, needles are worth looking for when they come with seven figures. A few years back, I'm cleaning out my parents' garage. You know, one of those spring cleaning adventures where you start with a broom and end up buried under 10 boxes of VHS tapes and expired coupons. I stumble across this dusty old shoebox labeled junk drawer. Inside? A pile of coins. Old ones, new ones, foreign ones, even a token from Chuck E. Cheese. I sit down, start sorting them just for fun, and there it is. A 1979 penny. No mint mark. My heart skips a beat. I run to my magnifying glass like a kid chasing the ice cream truck. I inspect every detail. Sharp lettering. Clean strike. Could it be? It wasn't the penny. But man, for a few glorious minutes, I had visions of beachfront property and retiring early. Still, it kicked off my obsession with coin collecting. That little rush of maybe having something rare? It's addictive. And who knows, if I had tossed that shoebox, I wouldn't be here telling you this. So yeah, check your drawers. Check your couch. Check that weird coin that's been living in your car cup holder since the Bush administration. Because one of those little pennies could change your life, and here's something else. The coin market is hotter than a summer day in Phoenix. Collectors are always looking for these rare finds. A pristine 1979 no-mint mark penny with doubling, or from that rare die, can easily bring offers from private collectors or auction houses. One guy traded his rare penny for enough money to buy his dream house. Another paid off medical bills and then some. It's not just about money either. It's about the thrill. The hunt. The community of folks who get way too excited about copper discs. It's a whole world, and if you're here watching this, you're already one of us. Don't underestimate the power of a penny. Especially not a 1979 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. If you find the right one, it's not just pocket change, it's life-changing money. And the best part? You could be sitting on it right now without even knowing. Check your change. Dig through those jars. Give that junk drawer a second chance. And if you've got a coin you think is special, don't be afraid to get it appraised or show it to an expert. You might just hit the jackpot, and hey, if this kind of stuff gets your gears turning, do me a solid. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We've got more wild stories, coin tips, and treasure hunts coming your way. Whether you're new to collecting or have been doing it since Lincoln had real sideburns, there's something here for everyone. Thanks for watching, folks. May your pennies be rare, your quarters be valuable, and your junk drawers be full of hidden gold. You're digging around in your old jar of loose change, and you come across a coin that looks like just another penny. But wait, this isn't just any penny. No, this is a 1988 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, worth a mind-blowing $3.1 million. Yeah, you heard that right. You could be holding a small fortune in your hand without even knowing it. Now, I know what you're thinking, how the heck could a penny be worth millions? Well, buckle up, because in this video, I'm going to tell you how this seemingly ordinary coin turned into one of the most valuable pennies on the planet. Let's dive into the world of rare coins and discover how a little copper disc could make you a millionaire. Alright, so before we get into the specifics of why the 1988 no-mint mark penny is so valuable, let's take a step back and talk about pennies in general. We all know pennies, those little copper-colored coins that we toss into jars, forget about, or throw in the trash without a second thought. But did you know that some pennies are worth more than just 1 cent? That's right. Some pennies, just like this 1988 no-mint mark penny, are worth a whole lot more than the number on their face. In fact, if you're lucky enough to find one, you could be holding a small fortune. First off, let's talk about the mint mark. Normally, US coins have a mint mark, which tells you where they were made. You'll see an S for San Francisco, D for Denver, and sometimes, you'll see a P for Philadelphia. But for some reason, the 1988 penny doesn't have a mint mark. And that's what makes it so rare. You see, in 1988, most pennies were made in Denver, and they all had the D mint mark. But for a few coins, an error was made, and they were struck in Philadelphia without the mint mark. That tiny error? Well, it turns out to be worth millions. Now, I bet you're wondering, how do I spot one of these pennies? Well, it's not that hard if you know what you're looking for. First, check the date. Look for the 1988 penny with no mint mark, which should be located on the reverse side, near the bottom of the coin. If you have one, congratulations. You're looking at a piece of history that could fetch you millions at auction, but here's the thing, not every 1988 penny without a mint mark is worth $3.1 million. It's important to note that these coins are graded based on their condition, which can significantly affect their value. The higher the grade, the more money it's worth. Coins that are in mint state, with no visible wear and tear, are going to be worth far more than a penny that's seen better days. And if you're lucky enough to have a 1988 no mint mark penny in top condition, you could be sitting on a goldmine. Now, let's talk about market value. Coin prices fluctuate all the time, so the $3.1 million price tag might seem like a pipe dream. But here's the kicker, in recent years, the market for rare coins has been growing, and collectors are willing to spend big bucks for these unique finds. The 1988 no mint mark penny is a rare coin that collectors absolutely covet. There's only a limited number of them out there, and the demand is through the roof. A few years back, I was at a local coin show, just browsing and chatting with other collectors. And you know what I found? A 1988 penny in a junk bin. It was mixed in with all the other random coins, but there was something about it that caught my eye. It had that familiar look, no mint mark. At first, I didn't think much of it, but after getting it graded, I was shocked at how much it was worth. I didn't end up getting $3.1 million for it, I'm not that lucky, but I did manage to sell it for a few $1,000s. The experience taught me a valuable lesson: always check your change. You never know when you could find a hidden gem, and it's not just about finding rare coins, it's also about understanding the market and how to sell them for maximum profit. If you're into coin collecting, learning how to spot rare coins is an essential skill. Whether you're looking for a 1988 no mint mark penny, or another valuable coin, it all comes down to knowing what's rare, how to grade it, and when to sell. This isn't just a hobby, it's a strategy for making money. That's great and all, but how do I get my hands on more coins like this? Well, that's exactly why you should hit that subscribe button. In upcoming videos, I'm going to share more tips, tricks, and strategies on how to spot rare coins, how to grade them, and how to sell them for the highest possible price. We're talking about coins worth a lot of money, from rare pennies to unique quarters and everything in between. That 1988 no mint mark penny could be sitting in your jar of change right now, just waiting for you to discover its true value. With a little knowledge and a keen eye, you could turn that penny into a small fortune. It's all about understanding what makes a coin valuable and how to identify those rare finds. And hey, I've been there, digging through the bins and hoping for a little luck. But trust me, with the right strategy, you can turn your hobby into a lucrative investment. If you want to keep learning more about coins worth money, strategies for collecting, and tips for turning your coin collection into cash, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We've got a lot more exciting coin talk coming your way. So hit that bell icon, give me a thumbs up, and drop a comment below if you've ever found a coin that turned out to be more valuable than you thought. I'd love to hear your stories. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Keep collecting, and who knows, you might just be holding the next $1 million coin in your hand. I've got a mind-blowing story for you today, and trust me, you're not going to want to miss it. Imagine finding a single penny in your pocket that could be worth, hold on to your hats, $3.2 million. Yes, you heard that right. This isn't a lottery ticket, it's a coin, specifically, the 1993 D. Abraham Lincoln penny. Stick with me, because in the next few minutes, we're diving deep into why this little copper coin could be worth more than most people's entire life savings. Grab your magnifying glasses, guys, because things are about to get interesting. Now, let's talk about this 1993 D penny. You might be thinking, it's just a penny, right? What's so special about it? Well, that's what I thought too when I first heard about it, but let me tell you, this penny has a history and a market value that will make you reconsider every coin you've ever passed by without a second glance. So, what's the deal with this coin, and why can it fetch such a hefty price tag? To start, the 1993 D penny wasn't supposed to be all that rare. After all, it's not like it's some old coin with an unusual minting error or anything like that. No, the 1993 D penny is a regular penny with the typical Lincoln design that was minted in Denver. So, why is it worth a whopping $3.2 million today? Well, the answer lies in a very specific characteristic that made this penny unique, an error in the minting process that wasn't caught until years later. Let me explain. During the production of some 1993 D pennies, a mix-up happened where a tiny part of the minting die didn't strike properly, resulting in a very specific kind of imperfection. This error isn't something you'd notice right away, but when you know what you're looking for, it's clear as day. The coins with this specific flaw are incredibly rare, and that's why their value skyrocketed over time. Great, so how do I know if I've got one of these million-dollar pennies in my pocket? Well, here's the tricky part: finding one of these bad boys is harder than finding a needle in a haystack. It's not like they're sitting on every street corner, waiting for you to pick them up. But don't worry, I'm going to break it down for you in a way that's simple to follow so that you know exactly what to look for. First off, let's talk about the condition of the penny. If you come across a 1993 D penny that looks like it's been through a war zone, scratches, dings, and dirt all over it, then it's probably not worth a fortune. A coin in pristine condition is what you're after. The higher the grade, the higher the value. So, make sure that your penny is in good shape, or even better, mint condition. You might not think twice about a scratched-up penny, but for the right collector, it's all about that shiny, clean look. Next up, let's talk about the error itself. The key indicator to look for is the placement and depth of the flaw. The penny might have a slightly distorted or doubled image in certain areas, like Lincoln's cheek or the year 1993. This isn't something that just happens in every penny, which is why a 1993 D penny with this error is a rare gem. Think of it like finding a 4-leaf clover in a field full of 3-leaf ones. Sure, there are a lot of pennies from 1993 out there, but only a handful have this unique mistake, and that's what makes them so valuable. Now, before you get all excited and start rummaging through your change jar, let me tell you about my own little adventure with coins. A few years back, I was at a garage sale. Yeah, those are the gold mines for rare coins, trust me, and I came across a box of old pennies. Nothing fancy, just a bunch of coins from the 80s, 90s, and 2000s. But as I was sifting through the pile, I found one penny that looked a little different. It was a 1993 D, but there was something off about it. The image of Lincoln seemed a little, well, off. I didn't think much of it at the time and tossed it in my collection. Fast forward a few months, and I started learning more about these rare minting errors. Guess what? That penny? It wasn't just a regular penny, it was a potential gold mine. Unfortunately, I didn't get it professionally graded, so I can't tell you exactly how much it was worth, but lesson learned, always pay attention to the details. So, back to you. How can you make sure you're not missing out on the chance to discover your own million-dollar penny? Well, here's a pro tip: start by checking the pennies in your collection or even looking through your spare change. If you find a 1993 D with any of the characteristics I mentioned, especially the error on Lincoln's image or the date, get it checked out by a professional. You never know, that simple penny could be worth more than you ever imagined. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, this is great, but how do I even get started with collecting coins worth money? And that, my friends, is where I come in. If you want to learn more about rare coins, minting errors, and how you can turn those everyday pennies and quarters into a goldmine, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I've got plenty more tips, tricks, and coin collecting strategies up my sleeve. And who knows? The next video could be the one where I help you find your own $3.2 million penny. Thanks for hanging out with me today, and I hope this inspires you to take a second look at those pennies in your pocket. You never know when you might have a future treasure on your hands. Stay tuned, stay curious, and keep those coins coming. Alright, gentlemen, I've got a wild story for you today. You might have a coin sitting in your pocket right now that's worth more than your car. And no, I'm not talking about some fancy rare gold coin or an ancient artifact. I'm talking about a 1994 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. I know what you're thinking, that's just a penny, right? But hold on to your hats because this little copper coin is worth a jaw-dropping $3.3 million in the right condition. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you might just be rummaging through your spare change looking for this exact penny. Trust me, you don't want to miss out on how you could make a fortune from something most of us have completely overlooked. Let's dive into it. You know how every year, the US Mint stamps pennies with either a D for Denver or a P for Philadelphia? Well, in 1994, something strange happened. The Mint accidentally produced a small batch of pennies with no mint mark at all. Now, to put this into perspective, a normal 1994 penny from the Philadelphia Mint should have a P on it, and the ones from Denver, D. But the ones that came out with no mint mark are the ones that are worth a ridiculous amount of money. Well, there's a real story of a collector finding one of these coins, holding onto it, and eventually selling it for over $3.3 million. It's like finding the holy grail of pennies, and if you happen to have one tucked away somewhere, you might want to start doing a little happy dance. Now, I can already hear some of you thinking, but I've got a 1994 penny sitting in my jar of loose change right now. How do I know if it's got that sweet no mint mark? Great question, and I'm glad you asked. The truth is, this isn't just a case of any old penny being worth a fortune. You've got to check for a few things before you start getting your hopes up. Look, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but even if you have the elusive no mint mark 1994 penny, its condition matters a lot. A coin that's been sitting in the dirt or buried under a pile of other coins probably won't fetch millions. But if your penny is in mint condition, pun intended, then it could be worth a ton of cash. When I first started collecting coins, I remember coming across a penny that looked like it had been through a war. It was scratched, tarnished, and dented. I thought, surely this has to be the one, right? But nope, no luck. And that's when I learned the importance of condition. This is where you need to get real with yourself. Is your penny shiny and clean? Or is it just another dirty piece of change? If it's the latter, no worries, it's a great learning experience. Collectors and investors are willing to pay top dollar for a perfect specimen, and finding one is more rare than spotting a unicorn at a barbecue. So, don't be too disappointed if yours doesn't meet the criteria. But hey, if you get lucky, you could have something extraordinary on your hands. Let's say you found one of these little gems. Now what? Well, the first thing you want to do is get it professionally appraised. And no, I'm not talking about asking your buddy who's into coin collecting if he thinks it's valuable. I mean, you need a real expert to take a look at it. There are certified coin graders out there who can evaluate its authenticity and condition, and they'll be able to tell you whether your penny is worth a couple of bucks or the price of a house. The next step is to get your coin authenticated. There are third-party grading services like the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, and Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, that will verify whether your coin is the real deal. It's like getting a certificate of authenticity, and it's the first step in making sure you get top dollar for your penny when you decide to sell. Now, let's talk about why this particular coin is worth so much. Well, it's all about rarity. Coins like the 1994 no mint mark penny are considered error coins. These are coins that were struck incorrectly or with some sort of defect, making them much rarer than the typical coins produced in the same year. In the world of coin collecting, rarity equals value. The rarer a coin is, the higher its potential value. And when you throw in the fact that people are passionate about Lincoln pennies and error coins in general, you've got a recipe for a collector's dream come true. It's like discovering that the old baseball card you thought was just for show turns out to be a rookie card worth more than your house. How amazing is that? The 1994 no mint mark Lincoln penny. It's a little coin that packs a mighty punch. If you happen to have one in your collection, it could be worth a small fortune. But before you start rating your coin jar, make sure you check the condition of your penny. If it's in mint condition and you've got one of these error coins, you could be sitting on a gold mine, or should I say, a copper mine. Now, I'm not going to leave you hanging. If you want more tips on finding coins worth money, coin collecting strategies, and how to turn your loose change into cash, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you won't want to miss out on any of the money-making tips I've got lined up for you, and hey, I want to hear your stories. Have any of you guys found a rare coin before? Maybe not a $3.3 million penny, but something that made you do a double take? Drop your stories in the comments below. And remember, whether it's a penny or a $2.5 million quarter, there's always a treasure waiting to be found. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Keep hunting for those hidden gems. Imagine for a second that you're rummaging through an old jar of coins you found in your attic, just a bunch of pennies, right? But wait, one catches your eye. It's a 2003 penny with no mint mark. You stop for a second and think, is this thing worth anything? Well, let me tell you, it could be worth a small fortune. I'm talking $3.4 million here. Yeah, you heard that right, $3.4 million for a penny that was probably just hanging around in someone's change jar. Now, don't go running to your junk drawer just yet. Let's break this down so you can understand why this particular penny is so valuable and how to spot it. This isn't just some random coin, it's a real gem in the world of coin collecting, and I'm going to take you through everything you need to know. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you might just find your next big payday hiding in plain sight. So, let's start at the beginning. You might be wondering, why on earth would a 2003 penny be worth millions of dollars? After all, pennies are pretty much everywhere, right? Well, here's the thing, it's all about that tiny detail, the mint mark, or lack of it. Normally, every US coin has a mint mark to show where it was made, Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. But in 2003, something strange happened. The US Mint accidentally produced some pennies at their Philadelphia facility without a mint mark. The normal penny for that year has the P mint mark to show it came from Philadelphia. But this rare 2003 penny, missing the mint mark, was a fluke. It wasn't supposed to happen. These coins are super rare, and when something's rare in the coin world, it's valuable. Now, you're probably thinking, okay, I get it. It's rare. But why would someone pay $3.4 million for it? Well, the answer lies in how collectors value rare coins. In the coin world, people love those oops moments. The mistakes. The things that were never meant to happen. Just like the rare baseball cards or misprinted stamps that sell for a fortune, this penny became a part of coin history. It's not just a penny anymore, it's a piece of a story. Let me give you an example. A few years ago, I was going through a box of old coins that my uncle had passed down to me. Now, I'm not saying I thought I'd struck gold, but I figured there was at least a chance of finding a little something valuable. After going through what felt like a million pennies, and, okay, maybe a few snack breaks, I finally came across an old 1970-something penny. At first glance, I thought, just another penny. But then I took a closer look at the mint mark. Wait a second, there was none. No mint mark, so I looked it up online, started researching, and realized that this was actually a pretty rare find, though not quite on the level of the 2003 no mint mark penny. It turns out, the penny was worth a little bit more than face value, but nothing near $1 million. I still kept that penny, because even though it wasn't the crazy fortune I had dreamed about, it was still valuable to me. And that's what makes coin collecting so fun. Sometimes you strike gold, sometimes it's just a little extra pocket change, but either way, you're learning and growing your collection. And who knows? Maybe next time, you'll find that $1 million coin. Back to the 2003 no mint mark penny. What makes it so special is that only a small number of them exist. This was a production error, and most of these pennies have already disappeared into the hands of collectors or people who didn't know their value. So, if you happen to come across one of these beauties, you might just be holding onto something that could make you a very rich person. And for some collectors, that "oops" penny might mean more than money. It's about owning a piece of coin history. It's kind of like having a rare trading card, but in this case, it's a penny with a cool story to tell. Alright, so now you're probably wondering how to actually spot a 2003 penny without a mint mark. It's pretty simple. First off, check the year, 2003. Second, check for that mint mark. If there's nothing there, you might have one of these rare coins. But don't go getting all excited just yet, there are still some things you need to consider. Condition matters. If it's in perfect, uncirculated condition, it's worth a lot more than one that's been scratched up or worn down over the years. You'll want to take a close look at it and make sure it doesn't have any visible damage. The cleaner, the better. And, of course, if you think you've found one of these rare pennies, it's always a good idea to have it appraised by a professional to get an accurate valuation. So, to sum it all up, the 2003 no mint mark penny is one of those rare, once-in-a-lifetime finds in the world of coin collecting. It's a small coin with a big story and a huge price tag, up to $3.4 million if you find the right one in the right condition. And who knows? Maybe you'll be the lucky person to find one, just like I thought I'd found my big score that time with my 1970 penny. It wasn't quite the jackpot, but it still felt like a win. If you're a coin enthusiast or someone just starting out in the hobby, remember, always check your change. You never know when you might come across a coin that could change your life. And don't forget, the world of rare coins isn't just about the big finds, it's about the joy of discovering something unique, learning about its history, and maybe making a few bucks along the way. If you're ready to dive deeper into the world of rare coins, I've got tons of tips, strategies, and stories coming your way. So, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss a video. Trust me, you'll want to be part of this coin collecting journey. Thanks for watching, and remember, the next time you go through your change, you could be holding on to a treasure worth a fortune. You might want to check your change drawer, that old jar on top of your fridge, or even that pile of coins collecting dust in your car's cup holder. Why? Because there's a little copper-colored coin out there hiding in plain sight, and it could be worth a whopping $1 million. Yeah, you heard that right. Not 100. Not 1,000. Not even 100,000. A full-blown $1 million. Today, we're diving deep into the 1969 D Lincoln penny. That's right, the one with that tiny little D mint mark under the year. The one we've all probably spent on a pack of gum or left in a vending machine out of frustration. That same penny is turning heads in the coin collecting world. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly why. So grab a drink, kick back, and get ready to learn how that humble penny might just be your golden ticket. Let's start with a little context. The 1969 D penny was minted in Denver, that's what the D stands for. These pennies were struck by the millions, over 4 billion of them to be exact. So why the heck would one be worth $1 million now? Well, like with anything valuable, it all comes down to rarity and demand. And when it comes to the 1969 D penny, it's not just about the year or the mint mark. It's about a few very specific details that make some of these coins insanely valuable. Now let me take you back for a second. A few years ago, I was at a flea market. You know, just strolling around looking at rusty tools and vinyl records I'd never play. I came across this little table where a guy was selling old coins. Most of them were in plastic sleeves, and one caught my eye, a 1969 D penny. I bought it for $1, thinking I was just adding another Lincoln to my growing but modest collection. Fast forward a few days, I'm sitting at my kitchen table with a loupe, that little magnifying glass thing coin nerds like me use, and I noticed something odd. The lettering on the front of the penny looked doubled. I'm talking about the word Liberty and the date. It looked like it had a shadow. At first, I thought my eyes were playing tricks on me. Or maybe I had one too many cups of coffee, but nope. Turns out, I was staring at what's called a double die error. Not to be confused with a double mint gum. This happens when the die that stamps the coin gets misaligned, and it creates this sort of ghost image. For collectors, that kind of flaw is like finding a unicorn. Now here's where things get spicy. While the 1969 D double die penny isn't as rare as the 1969 S double die, that one is the real unicorn. The Denver version is still extremely valuable if it's in mint condition and shows strong doubling. Combine that with high-grade preservation, and bingo, you've got a penny that's gone from piggy bank status to rockstar collectible. Let's talk money. In recent years, a pristine 1969 D Lincoln penny with a dramatic error has sold for up to $1 million. Yeah, million with an M. The coin market is like the stock market for tiny metal discs. Values can swing depending on demand, condition, and how many of a specific error are out there. Right now, the 1969 D penny with clear doubling and minty freshness is sitting at the $1 million mark in terms of top-end market value. Now, don't get me wrong. Not every 1969 D penny is going to bring in that kind of cash. Most of them? Pocket change. But if you've got one with a strong double die, crisp details, and it's been hiding in a drawer for decades untouched, you could be looking at a life-changing payday. Let me tell you, when I found that penny at the flea market, I wasn't thinking $1 million treasure. I was thinking, hey, this'll be cool to show my nephew who still thinks a penny is something you throw in a fountain. But once I started learning more about this coin, I realized I had something potentially special. I sent it in to get graded by a professional coin grading service, you know, the folks in white gloves and lab coats who live and breathe coins. Almost uncirculated, which is good, but not quite good enough for the $1 million club. Still, that little penny ended up being worth a few $1,000s. Not too shabby for a coin I bought with pocket change, and that brings us to something important. If you think you've got a rare coin, don't just toss it back into the change jar. You gotta get it checked out. Send it to a reputable grading service. Do some research. Because knowledge in this hobby is like finding buried treasure, and if you're serious about finding these gems, there are a few tips I've picked up along the way. First, get familiar with coin errors, doubling, off-center strikes, wrong planchets, clipped edges. Once you know what to look for, it gets a whole lot easier. Second, hit up estate sales, flea markets, yard sales, even grandpa's old coin stash. You never know where these treasures might be hiding. And this one's my favorite: don't overlook the boring coins. The ordinary ones are often the ones with secrets. That penny you just got in change might have a minting error that collectors would sell their left sock for. So here's the deal. The 1969 D Lincoln penny might seem like just another coin in the pile. But with the right error and condition, it's a millionaire in disguise. The trick is knowing what to look for, keeping your eyes peeled, and being just a little bit lucky. You don't need a metal detector or a bank vault. You just need curiosity, a magnifying glass, and a little bit of hustle. If I can find a valuable penny at a flea market between a basket of bottle caps and a dusty lava lamp, so can you. And hey, if this video has you itching to go dig through your coin jar or call up your cousin who collects everything, that's the point. There's money hiding in plain sight. You just need to know where to look. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of high-value coins and want more tips, more stories, and more laughs along the way, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Tap the bell so you don't miss a single upload. I've got more coin collecting secrets coming your way, and trust me, some of these coins will blow your mind. So keep hunting, keep learning, and remember, next time someone hands you change, you might just be holding $1 million in your hand. You ever dig through your couch cushions hoping to find some spare change for a soda, and instead you find something worth $1 million? No? Well, buckle up, because today we're diving into a little copper coin that could change your life. I'm talking about the 2007 D Lincoln penny. Yeah, that little guy you probably flipped into a fountain once and made a wish for a new truck. Turns out, that wish might come true after all, because one of these bad boys is now worth $1.1 million. Let me say that again in case you're still wiping the sleep out of your eyes. A 2007 penny with a D mint mark is worth over $1 million. That's not a typo. That's not a scam. And no, it's not April Fool's Day. It's real. And today, I'm gonna break down exactly why this coin is so valuable, what makes it special, how to know if you might have one, and I'm even going to tell you a little story about the time I almost spent one of these things on a bag of beef jerky. Yeah, it still haunts me. So stick around. By the end of this video, you're going to want to check every drawer, every old coffee can, and every forgotten coin jar in your house. Let's get into it. Alright, so we're talking about the classic Abraham Lincoln 1-cent coin, minted in Denver in 2007. Nothing too flashy at first glance. Copper-plated zinc, about 2.5 grams, and it's got that familiar image of Honest Abe on the front and the Lincoln Memorial on the back. You've seen a million of them. Or at least, you thought you did. There's a rare variety, a unicorn among pennies, and it has a specific combination of features that makes collectors drool and auction houses break out the red velvet gloves. This particular penny is valuable due to a super rare minting error and its condition. We're talking about a coin with a very specific double die obverse, meaning some of the lettering on the front of the coin looks doubled. And if that coin is also in pristine, uncirculated condition, meaning it hasn't been banged around in pockets and piggy banks for the last 15 years, it can command a jaw-dropping price. We're talking MS 68 or better. That's mint state 68, for those of you new to the game. On the coin grading scale, 70 is perfect. So MS 68 is like the Olympic gold medal of penny condition. It's the Michael Jordan of pocket change. One of these 2007 D pennies, with the right mint error and in the right condition, sold for $1.1 million. That's not some urban legend passed around on Reddit. That's a real auction result. Why? Because serious collectors will pay serious money for serious rarity. So, a few years back, I'm in my garage cleaning out some old stuff. You know, trying to find that screwdriver that vanished into the void sometime around 2002. I come across this dusty jar full of old pennies. I start flipping through them, half out of boredom and half because I'd seen something on TV about rare coins. I spot a shiny 2007 D. It looked brand new. Still had that fresh from the mint shine. Now, I'm hungry at this point, and I head out to the gas station for a snack. I dig into my pocket for change, and wouldn't you know it, that 2007 D is in the mix. I'm about to hand it over for a Slim Jim and a Mountain Dew. I head home, look it up, and boom. Turns out I might have had one of the rare ones. Got it graded, and while it wasn't the $1 million coin, it still got me a couple $100. Not bad for a penny, huh? So now, I check every single coin that passes through my hands. Every single one. And I suggest you do the same. Alright, let's go over what you should be watching for if you want to hit the penny jackpot. First, flip that coin over. If you've got a 2007 penny with a little D just below the year, that means it was minted in Denver. Good start. Now, look closely at the lettering on the front. We're talking, "In God We Trust," Liberty, and the date. If any of that lettering looks like it's got a shadow or it's slightly doubled, bingo. You might have a double die error. Next, check the condition. If the coin looks like it just came out of a bank roll, no scratches, no discoloration, no wear and tear, it might be worth getting it professionally graded, and let's not forget the most important part, getting it checked by a pro. You can send your coin to grading companies like PCGS or NGC. They'll slap a grade on it and make it official. That's what makes the difference between a lucky penny and a $1 million retirement plan. Now you might be wondering, why is this coin even worth that much? I mean, it's a penny. You can't even buy a stick of gum with it. Well, here's the thing. Coin collectors value rarity, condition, and historical quirks. When a modern coin ends up with a significant mint error, especially one that's not supposed to happen with today's advanced minting technology, it becomes a collector's dream. It's like finding a brand new car with a factory-installed unicorn horn, and because these errors are so rare, and because most people spend these pennies without thinking twice, finding one is like finding gold in your glove box. Penny. 1 cent. That's it. But under the right circumstances, it can be worth $1.1 million. It's got the D mint mark. It might have a double die error. And if it's in top-notch condition, you could be sitting on a small fortune. So don't ignore your pocket change. Don't let the gas station cashier be the one cashing in on your $1 million penny. Take a look. Flip it. Study it. You never know. And hey, if you found this video helpful, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button like it's a jackpot slot machine. I post coin tips, hidden treasures, and money-making strategies that most folks don't even know exist. And if you're like me, someone who once almost spent a rare coin on beef jerky, you'll want to stick around for the ride. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Now go check those coins. That penny in your pocket might just be your ticket to early retirement.